What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more soft cell. I do apologize, this is a deep dive that slipped off longer than I realized. It's been about a month, so I'm going to try to do this, and then within the next week or so do another soft cell and get back to what would have been a more normal place, or a more fitting place in the journey through the album. So apologies, and big shout out to all the folks, including Kim, who has been providing the soft cell material post the early stages of it, and also shout out to Han Solo, of course. And yeah, we're going to listen to the next tune on this Last Night in Sodom, 1984, and that is Little Rough Rhinestone. So rhinestone, it's I think, what is it called, a diamond simulant, I believe, meaning an imitation diamond. So there's a sense of visual allure and what's the right word, flash, but at the same time an absence of genuine quality, which is funny, right? Like, I was reading an article not too long ago about how, imitation products of more, let's say, designer brands, or, big brand names are, I guess, bought more regularly today than they used to be. And, the idea of what is authenticity, if it looks and seems very much like the original, then, should you feel bad, or should you regard it as second tier because it's not made with the same components or materials. But yeah, ultimately a rhinestone is something that looks like something a lot more valuable, but is in fact an imitation of it. And little and rough, something that is, a stubborn little obdurate item which perhaps endures or survives in hostile circumstances, things where, or places where there's pressure and violent physics or mechanical action toward. So yeah, I wonder what this will all mean, again, as I think about this album and just the concept of this last night in Sodom, before everything is destroyed, before everything is wiped away. It's hard not to think about each song in a very dark context. Obviously, soft cell, there's a wickedness, behind the unpleasant curtain, as Mark once referred to it, or he was saying it's like the dead flies between the curtain and the window view of domestic life. But even knowing that throughout their catalog, it feels like this album has an intense fatalism to it, just given the title. So let's listen. This is Soft Cell. The track is Little Rough Rhinestone, and it's from This Last Night in Sodom, 1984.
Rough rhinestone, where will your love go today? Sometimes you think that you had none to start with anyway. We'll lose the deep pools and the blues will cloud up your bright little eyes, and the cold comes to claim you inside. You sit writing letters to imaginary friends that you left behind in your mind. The deep dark red doorways call to a limbo of loneliness, where a million rhinestones sit and cry.
I like the high chimes and the low electric bass.
This way, I once had a friend, but he moved away. And even my mother, when she turned on me, couldn't put in motion like this in me. Fist into glass, into head, someone else's head. They beat you up so badly that your eyes shall look as the nearly dead. The wagon will come and scoop up what's left of the sorry debris, and you'll take the place of 100 other little Johnnies that wear the very same
space, time, and possibility in this person's narrative was at the end like bending into this emotional singularity. It was insane. The whole tune was a bit cacophonous and busy and almost disorienting, but then it really upped that intensity. I feel like that's not the first time I've said that, even maybe in the first couple tracks of this album. But yeah, definitely a disorienting whirlwind of a track, as it went on, even more so. And yeah, ultimately, it sounds like there's violence, someone being beaten up, and a mom turning on him, and there was like one person who he seemed to have a good relationship, but alas, they moved away. So again, it seems like the world is hostile and violent, and brutal and unkind, and perhaps that creates a little Rough Rhinestone, someone who wants to shine and be bright and to express, but isn't really allowed to do that and is beaten down by the forces around him. So yeah, that's obviously a bit speculative. I didn't hear everything clearly, and partly because I was ensconced in the sonic maelstrom, but yeah, I felt like some of the lines I heard would fit with that. So looking forward to hearing Kim and others give some insight. Ultimately, this does feel like an album from a group that's just like hurtling towards some like dark fate, but almost like being super self-conscious of it and embracing it for artistic purposes. So yeah, crazy. Shout out to Mark and Dave. I do intend to get back to the grid too. I'm sure that one's been just as long. So again, shout out to Kim for the music and the patience. You are endlessly appreciated. And as I said, I'll try to get to the grid soon and do another soft sell within a week or so that we'd be back to where we probably should have been. In any case, I do have a lot of holiday stuff coming this month too, so I'm looking forward to that. Do let me know what you think of this. I will see you next time. Peace.